China's development of a comprehensive credit score system, described as the ultimate tool of social control, has garnered significant attention and concern. In a 2015 article, the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, expressed alarm about this emerging surveillance network, which would assign scores between 350 and 950 to every Chinese citizen. Unlike credit scores in the United States, this system would extend punishment to various behaviours, including minor offences like jaywalking or criticising the government. Disturbingly, individuals could even be held accountable for the actions of their friends and family. However, it is important to note that the original article primarily focused on the United States, as the ACLU is an American non-profit organisation that advocates for free speech, privacy, and criminal justice reform. The author, lacking expertise on China, based the article on other online sources and later updated to clarify that it aimed to caution against potential abuses in America. Despite the lack of new reporting or in-depth analysis, the article's association with a well-respected institution led to its widespread dissemination and influenced other organisations' opinions. Within a week, the concept of the social credit system entered the English language media landscape, with multiple sources endorsing the same alarming conclusion. These reports, referencing the original ACLU article, created a sense of urgency and evidence, despite being based on earlier speculation and limited expertise. The rapid spread of news, coupled with market pressures in contemporary journalism, contributed to the sensationalization of the story. America's existing skepticism towards the Chinese government and technology further fueled the narrative. Over time, the social credit system gained momentum and received coverage from reputable publications such as the Financial Times, Economist, and Fortune. This amplification of the initial article led to Vice President Mike Pence mentioning the system in a White House address, describing it as an Orwellian mechanism for controlling all aspects of human life. However, individuals who have first-hand experience living in China may express confusion when asked about the system, as their encounters with it often do not align with a sensationalized portrayal. It is essential to approach the topic with nuance and critical thinking. The prevailing response to China's social credit system is confusion rather than anger or disagreement. It is not solely the result of censorship or propaganda. The widely circulated notion of an Orwellian credit score system is misleading. The official document outlining the system is deliberately vague and uninformative. The context in which was released, including the War on Terror campaign, fueled suspicions. While China has established an oppressive police state in Xinjiang, the social credit system is not as all-encompassing. Beijing delegates power to lower levels of government for implementation. Understanding the context and the complexities is crucial for an accurate understanding of China's governance and social dynamics. When the physical construction deviates from the initial concept art, the central government can avoid accountability by referring to its vaguely worded and unobjectable sketches. However, the government also has its own objectives that need to be conveyed to the engineers responsible for implementation. Thus, while these policy documents may be tediously dull, they do contain some substantive content, provided one understands the language of the Chinese Communist Party. So what does the term social credit actually mean? According to Jeremy Duam, a senior fellow at Yale Law School's Paul Tsai China Center, it was never intended to represent a single policy or a well-defined objective. Instead, it served as a catch-all phrase encompassing a broad range of efforts. The first aspect of social credit was related to finance. Prior to the enactment of the one-child policy in 1980, millions of individuals were in their prime working age years during the economic boom of the 1980s, 1990s, and early 2000s. This abundant workforce kept labour costs low, attracting foreign companies that reinvest their profits in China. However, as this generation began to retire, labour costs rose, resulting in lower profits and decreased investment. To sustain economic growth, China needed to shift from investment-driven growth to consumption-driven growth. At that time, only a small fraction of the population had credit reports, and without access to bank loans or credit cards, people couldn't spend as much money. However, a significant portion of the unbanked population regularly used Chinese apps like WeChat and Alipay. The idea emerged to utilize the data generated by these platforms to create alternative credit scores. As part of the pilot project, 8 private companies, including the well-known Sesame Credit, were selected to develop such scoring systems, offering users optional 3-digit scores. The second major focus of the social credit concept revolved around trust. Paradoxically, while China is often perceived by outsiders as a tightly controlled and closely monitored police state, many within the country viewed it as the Wild West, lacking regulation and accountability. Major incidents like the 2008 tainted milk scandal, where toxic chemicals were found in milk and baby formula, causing illnesses in thousands of children, left a deep scar on the nation. Such scandals created widespread suspicion, with some parents remaining skeptical of Chinese milk even today. Simultaneously, corruption, once tolerated as a necessary evil for rapid economic growth, had reached a tipping point. Not only was the party losing control over its members, but the public was also becoming increasingly aware. Stories of local officials driving luxury cars despite their modest salaries drew unwanted attention. From the party's perspective, these issues were interconnected. The tainted milk scandal, corruption, and other similar incidents represented a crisis of moral integrity and governance failure. One of the consequences of these efforts was a prevailing lack of trust within Chinese society. To address the issue, the government proposed the concept of a reputation society, using its customary ambiguous language to define the problem and task the engineers with finding a solution. The outcomes of this approach were as haphazard and chaotic as one would expect. The third and final aspect of the social credit concept is the use of blacklists. Previously, different governments' ministries maintained separate records, allowing individuals to violate the rules of one ministry without being known to another. Now, there is an effort to share this data not only internally, but also with the public. For example, one can search the name of a company to determine its reputation. Trustworthy entities are placed on red lists, while repeat offenders end up on blacklists. Most entries on these lists are companies, although their owners and managers can also be implicated. Approximately 1 to 2% of companies and 0.15 to 0.3% of individuals are blacklisted each year. In severe cases, offenders may face restrictions such as being banned from taking flights or trains or enrolling their children in private schools. However, these restrictions only apply to those who refuse to pay damages determined by a judge, despite having the means to do so. Once court orders have been fulfilled, individuals are removed from the blacklist. By 2018, over 12 million judgment defaulters have been affected, and some cities even displayed their names in movie theatres. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of China's social credit system. We hope this video has shed light on the real story behind this complex and often misunderstood system. It is crucial to approach the topic with a nuanced understanding, considering the historical context, government strategies, and the realities on the ground. If you found this video informative and thought-provoking, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who may be interested. And, as always, we appreciate your support and feedback. Stay curious, stay informed, and join us on our next exploration into fascinating topics.